Puff TV, we have an eminent Ekiti man, a medical practitioner, a consultant who has lived about 40 years in Australia, and yet who is the most popular governorship aspirant on the platform of the PDP, Dr. Wole Oluyede. Welcome to Puff TV.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I'm under fire. But I hope I go through the tunnel. But thank you, Mr. Lanka, to have been invited here. It's great to be here.
You were originally a member of the APC, and you later vacated APC for the ADC, and for a while you were incommunicado until you resurfaced with the report of you joining the PDP at a time when the PDP was inactive, and that makes everybody think, why should he join the PDP? What was the cause of that audacity that led you to join the PDP at that time?
Well, it's simple. If people can go back to my foray into politics, really, I joined the APC when the APC was virtually in the same situation. I joined the politics after that was in 2014. I actually started in 2015. It was at a point in time when everybody thought that APC was dead. The election, we lost an election, or APC lost an election, 16-0 they called it at that time. The APC lost in all the local governments, and everybody thought that was the end of. I was the first one at that time to come out and say, look, let's rally ourselves around. The kind of job I do is to say, okay, well, even when there's no hope of anybody getting better, we want to make that person better. So facing challenges or seeing an audacious move to be made is not anything of a challenge to me. And I enjoy that. I believe that you don't give up hope, especially when you are principled about what you want to do. And interestingly, the same problems that I see or I saw in Ekiti at that time is still there. Nothing has changed really. If you really want to look at the trajectory of lives in Ekiti, has anything become better since 2015? No. I don't see any improvement. I still see misery, I still see poverty. In actual fact, the people are less interested in what goes around them. They are more interested in what they're going to eat from day to day. So there's more poverty, there's less hope, and interestingly, there are less number of people even interested in running the state, because everybody now sees challenging the government as a bad investment. And it is really a bad investment. It's more challenging to ask anybody to do what is right by the people. And how many challengers do you have around? When I came in, eventually we were 32 people running in the APC. Although many of them were sponsored at that time, now looking back. But right now, how many people are challenging? This is the third year of this government now. How many people are challenging within his party? Which other party in Nigeria is actually challenging or have the interest or the hope of changing the course of life? Nobody is doing it. And I believe that if I didn't have the audacity of foolishness, some people would say, to say, I'm going to show interest in PDP, probably nobody will have shown interest. The government was calculating on no opposition. And it's no opposition by attrition, by making it difficult for anybody to come in and ask questions, and giving everybody the sense of no other alternative can come up. And if you really look at the terrain, everybody that came in to Ekiti with nothing in their pockets, they're all carpetbaggers. They all have become rich, strong, and they are now the ones saying we endorse.
You mean everybody that ever governed the state?
Everybody that ever governed the state, one way or the other, they have come together, form a gang and say, look, we are now the paymaster, we are now the colonizers. So we have colonizers determining who becomes the next government of the state. And they actually have the audacity of saying, no, he has only done 1 year of a 4-year term. We can now endorse. We know who is going to challenge us. And that's why I'm stepping up. I'm saying, no, it shouldn't be so. Apart from that, one thing about it is I come to Ekiti very often, and you don't see, the lives of people in Ekiti. I use this analogy. It's like the government is driving the car, put the car in reverse gear, and is looking forward and pressing the accelerator and say the car is moving.
Meanwhile, it's moving backwards.
It's moving backwards, but it's pretending, and the people are pretending that movement is forward. No, there's no forward movement, and anybody that has the thinks that they can challenge me, I'll put papers down and I'll put indices down to show them that we're actually in reverse gear.
So the people are supposed to be running helter-skelter?
Well, because it's going to wreck. Because, I just told the analogy now, we have a government who is driving the car of Ekiti, putting the thing in reverse gear. He's not even looking backwards to see, even if I want to maneuver this car backwards, he's going to land safely. No. He's pretending to be looking forward when he knows that he's driving this place backwards.
But Dr. Oluyede, since your membership of the PDP, which actually rejuvenated the party, there was much activity. Not soon after that, we haven't seen much happening on the platform of the PDP. We see more of, conflicts, conflict resolutions. The party hasn't really come up to play that role of opposition to the incumbent government.
Well, I have to correct a few things. I have joined the PDP. I have not declared that I'm running. Although everybody naturally would assume that I'm running. Well, I only joined the PDP. I will run when the party is well settled. And thankfully, we are getting settled. Parties thrive in crisis. We are coming together, we are talking to one another, we are making sense of our situation, we are putting structures in place. That doesn't have to be in the middle or in the public space. But I can tell you that the PDP in Ekiti is going to survive, is going to thrive. We're going to put structures together. Well, thankfully there are people who have benefited from the party. And their only way of contributing now is to use it as an entrepreneur to make money for themselves. Those ones, gladly, a majority of those ones have joined this government of reverse gear, and they have declared their interests where they are. So we're happy that they are where they are. We're just hoping to keep them away from the rest of us that want a change. And we're working on that.
How successful do you see that happening?
100%. I am very, very, very sure, I'm very, very, very confident that we are going to be a formidable opposition party that is going to occupy the State House in 2026. I am 100% sure of that.
What is causing the delay in Congress's holding?
There are a few factors, but as I said, you don't tell your enemies where your problems are. But all those problems are easily surmountable. We are surmounting them one by one. And we're going to come out clean, healthier, and stronger. The PDP is the stronger party in Ekiti. We know that we have very dedicated members of the party who will not go to the other party. Look, well, what is even in APC? I've been a member of APC. I've said it a few times. APC, at least in Ekiti, is the most undemocratic setup that you can have. And people can come and challenge me to that. And even people who are in APC are not enjoying APC because it is...
They are not enjoying APC.
What are they enjoying? There are a few people who enjoy APC. The people who own APC know themselves. We know them. And they are the ones who put their cronies, their brothers, and everybody else can pick crumbs. You understand? And they only recruit other people to join them to eat the cake, and but I'm not interested in eating Ekiti, and I can tell it. Most people who have ruled Ekiti, all they have done in the last 30 years, almost like Ekiti has been in existence, is to drive us into penury while they make money and thrive out of it. What is this enterprise called Ekiti? What have we been able to establish? Nothing, absolutely nothing, zero. We are indebted to tunes of almost billions of dollars.
In Ekiti?
You can challenge me. You understand? Show papers if you want. We owe money that we cannot pay. Isn't
from which governments?
From banks.
I mean, which of the governments?
I am not going to be specific, and that's what I'm saying. When you look backwards, that's where we are. This government, the government of Ekiti as it is today, owes money to banks, and we don't have anything to show for what we have. You know, when you do business, if you are going to borrow money, it should be for investment, isn't it? We should say, okay, well, the money we bought, we borrowed, we have used it to invest in this business that will generate money in the future. We have not done that. We have only borrowed money to run government, and there are no investments. And the investments could be either for infrastructure, for development concerns, or for investments in the people to hope that these people will become better and be able to pay back the money. But we have governments that have no sense of business, no sense of responsibility, no idea of how to move this state forward, and we're indebted. And the only source of our income so far is federal allocation.
Which has doubled or even tripled?
Well, I heard it has. But then, are they reporting that to you? Are you aware that that has tripled? And that's why when everybody asks me about the federal government or APC in the federal, I'm telling them that's a very, very different ballgame entirely. Because by every sense, the APC government in the central have done so well for Ekiti, because we are now getting more money that we've never gotten before from the federal government. So there's a difference between the APC run central government and the APC run state government. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm drawing that line because I can say that I have no problem with whatever is being done in the town. I'm not running for, I'm not interested. But even then, if we belong to Nigeria, and you look at what this APC government have done, you can at least see, the federal government, you can still see a difference. There's a deliberate change of wanting to do something. And I can tell you, undoubtedly, the federal government as it is right now is probably the most deliberate government that we've had in the last 30 or 40 years. They are doing things that are different, that I believe that some of them, and most of the things they have done, the policy changes they have put in place, if we had done them 40 years ago, probably Nigeria would be in a better place right now. So I have no problems with that. And now, in the history of Ekiti, that government, that federal government, is pushing more money into this state. And all we get out of it is people telling me they are paying salaries. No. Should that be a mark? Should that be a measure of what government is? Pay salaries of civil servants. How does that bring development?
What would you have expected?
What I would have expected is a government that is actually ready to be responsible, to actually have a feeling for the people and say, look, we need to change our trajectory into poverty. You have to invest in the people. The people have to feel that the government is doing something for them. And I don't want people to think that the government is just to feed people. I don't want government of palliatives. I want government of policies. And And I want to ask, what are the policy changes in Ekiti that will make this place better than it was before? That's the question I want to ask. And that's the question I'm asking. Do we have a policy on health? Do we have a policy on infrastructural development? Do we have a policy that will make this place more agriculturally productive than it was? Do we have a policy on industrialization? Are those not measures that we should have to call development, to call a change? And I want somebody to come and challenge me and have a discussion. I'll be so happy for this government to produce somebody to come and challenge me on these things. I'm asking simple questions. You don't need a government to pay a salary when the person is not really working to generate the money. You go to Abuja and go, then a houseboy can be the governor. If that's all the governor does, go to Abuja, collect the money, bring it to Ekiti and pay salaries. You don't need a brain to do that. You can do that by using AI. Or if that is actually too sophisticated, you need just a software that says, okay, well, pay. So if the job of the government is just to say, press pay, then why do we need a government? But I'm talking about a thinking government. A government that says, this is what I am projecting forward for the next 4 years. And this is what I want to happen to my people. If they only have that sense of responsibility to say, look, God has given, look, believe me, I am a very, very sentimental person. And because of my faith, I believe that the divine person that I call my Lord Jesus Christ, by my faith, has made this person the governor of Ekiti State. And that's why I wouldn't go to court even if I lose an election. I don't care about it. But if you have a sense of responsibility that God has made you the governor of this state, tell me what you have done differently. That you can show your card to the divine person to say, this is what I've done with every field I have. We don't make government by Dobale. That's not how to do it. And then, why are you so obsessed about second term? Show me your report card. The only thing I can see is by the principle of somebody who say if a Peking failed class, make you repeat the class now. So that's what we are, because this is a failed government. All right. It's a failed government.
Dr. Oluyede, is there anything you will commend the government over, or there is nothing at all to speak in favor of the government?
I'm sorry, that is a very, very, very wrong question to ask me, because honestly, my answer bluntly is no, nothing. The only thing that everybody says about this government or this governor is that he's trying to be friends to other people, to everybody. I don't, like I tell my children, I didn't send you to school to make friends. I sent you to school
to learn.
To learn. I didn't want my government to be my friend. I want him to be a source of development. I am not going to mark him by saying that he's friends. Well, maybe I'm being selfish because this government has not bothered to be my friend because they know that I will not be looking for that kind of friendship. They know that. I don't need the patronage of government.
Dr. Oluyede,
I want government to be responsible. I want government to say, look, I'm asking, look, there are zillions of young people or younger people that have no hope. They don't know what to do with their lives. The Indians are taking over the world. The Indonesians are developing. They are even as crazy as anybody might think Donald Trump is. He has a reason for doing what he wants to do. Why he's doing it? You understand? Let me see policies. Look, I'm a doctor. I run policies of government. I know the trajectories of what we are looking forward for the next 3-4 years. We want this number of hospitals. We want this number of beds. We want that this number of people who are dying of one disease or the other to reduce to that. You understand what I'm saying? We are putting policy. That's what we need a government to do. I don't want a government who is my friend. I don't need it. I need a government.
Since you joined the PDP and reactivated it,
I didn't reactivate it. No, I do not want to be seen. Yes, I think I'm doing my little best to bring that party together. But I can tell you that what I've seen within that party are people who are selfless, who are interested in forming government. And they have invested their time and energy on a personality. And that's what I'm trying to change, that we should stop running governments of personalities in Ekiti. We should run governments of policies. So, I do not want to create a personality cult in Ekiti anymore. Everybody has a role to play in Ekiti. Ekiti belongs to all of us. At a point in time, when I first came back to start running, they used to call me the aspirant. What is he looking for? The truth about it is, the only thing I'm looking for, and I've proven it, is I want a good government. Some people believe that being in government is a source of income. For some. But honestly, when you really look at it, for those of us who have traveled, who have worked in other systems, the budget of Ekiti State comes to only about $120 million every month, every year. That's chicken change. That's why you will not get investors. Do you think Samsung is going to put a factory in Ekiti State with a budget of $120 million? Or 130 million? It's a joke. But we need to see what we have right now as seed rather than produce. That is one thing that this government or past governments have not really realized. What we have is ilagbe, if anybody wants to understand it. And what we have been having is a set of governments that has been cooking up our ilagbe. You understand, our seedlings. Instead of them to plant it, they have been roasting it and eating it. You understand?
So there will be no harvest.
No harvest. And you know the
cultivation.
Thing? No cultivation, nothing to hope for. And what you see this government do is that the peel of the ilagbe that they have cooked,
we should go to pigs and
they dry it and mill it and then cook it as amala for our people. And that's what they bring as salary. Unfortunately, that's what we've had. And that is, so we are chopping our ilagbe and we are thinking that the money, and you know the worst thing is that they have now got to borrow money to cook soup to eat the ilagbe. You get what I'm saying
so
now?
The future is bleak.
The future is bleak. What future? What future? If we are not careful, the generation coming behind us, and that's what I'm trying to tell anybody, for everybody else to say. I want it to be on record that I asked questions when they are writing the history of Ekiti, that I didn't sit back and say, you can do whatever you, and I didn't join the people who chop the ilagbe. Because I'm warning and I'm telling people now, we need to demand what happens to our seedlings that we are getting. How much of it are we planting for the future? And everybody should rise up and not chop part of that ilagbe, because every time you go to vote and you are giving 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira to vote idiots in, you are part of those who are chopping the ilagbe and you cannot complain. You understand what I'm saying? And that is it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I am a member of the PDP. When you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman. I am telling you and assuring you that the PDP will do what it takes to win the next elections. The only thing is that we are going to be responsible. And nobody in Ekiti should blame the federal government, because the federal government has actually done very well for Ekiti. So take them out of it. They're not interested in who becomes the governor of Ekiti State. I know the people who are in charge in that place. So don't let us, and don't let them tell you that they have approved them, because they have not approved them. You understand? They are not approved them because they don't have the same mindset as these people that are ruling Ekiti right now.
You mean even with all the wave of endorsements?
Which endorsements? Endorsements by people who have chopped you to put people who are still chopping you in place. Which endorsement? What do you endorse 1 year into a 4-year program? What do you endorse that doesn't show anything, that there is no evidence of anything coming? We are in the 3rd year of this government. All I see is unfinished business, unstarted business of... It is actually like a mirage.
People of the fountain.